Hey, we're here at Gunners Firearms with Maggie. How are you doing today, Maggie?
I'm doing great, Mark.
Very
Welcome
good.
to Gunners Firearms. It's great to be back in Raymore, Missouri.
So it's a beautiful day too. And well, it's not freezing cold. And actually, we were going to talk about the weather because that was per Brian's request.
Yeah, because it's
weather.
This is the Midwest. Wait 5 minutes and you will get the weather you want.
Brian, weather thoughts.
It's going to get cold. It's going to get chilly. Make sure you don't put your coats away yet. It is Missouri. There's going to be ice and snow by the middle of the week.
Hell
Will
yes!
the kids have school or not? That is the question.
One of my least favorite things to do as a principal is call snow days.
Why?
Because here's the thing. If it snows, half of the population of students and parents are going to hate you because it snowed. Because it snowed, half of the population of the students and parents are going to hate you. Because if you call a snow day, half of them are going to hate you. If you don't call a snow day, the other half are going to hate you. And so in the end, you just might as well do what's right.
Yeah, Wow! That ties in perfectly to gun sales and everything as well, because if you have something you're pissing off people, 50% of the people either way.
Yeah.
Either you do not have what they are looking for immediately on your shelf or in stock, they have to wait to get it, and they don't want to wait. So you're ticking somebody off.
I always had a saying. Actually, this wasn't my saying. I had a mentor, an old principal of mine that taught me a lot, and I live by this. Is there's certain things you're going to do that no matter what you choose, you're going to be the hero and the villain. No matter what you choose, some people are going to hate you, some people are going to love you. So you might as well pick the right thing.
Yeah, do what's
the
right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, do what's right.
Well, hey, speaking of doing what's right, and making people upset at your choices.
Yeah! We aim to please.
Please. So we were talking about it, I briefly a little bit ago, and I just want to chat about this because I am of belief that the paper forms, when you fill them out, they stay here, like you mentioned. They don't go anywhere. If somebody needs information off that, they have to physically come here.
Yes.
Or call here. But yet, then there's a lot of people doing it online. Doing it like you get out the laptop and you fill out your
digital forms. It's computerized.
And I would argue that is being stored.
It has to be to be stored somewhere.
Right, it has to be stored somewhere. And my guess is you guys don't have a supercomputer back there, so you're not storing that information.
No, we do paper
nor is
forms.
Any other. Well, but even the places that do, because there's a couple gun stores that I won't go to because they do that, but that would be a digital registry. Yeah. Am I right?
They have a digital backup of all of that that can be accessed at any time, even remotely by. Usually it's by the owner of the company, the managers, the people that have access to that, but it's stored digitally. Who protects the digital data?
Well, and I would argue that I'm not necessarily worried about protecting my data because I am sure that there are probably about 400,000 websites that are on the dark web that could access all of our information.
Oh,
no
I'm
matter
sure.
what. Like somebody could buy every American's information for probably less than $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's not really where, it's more the fact that I always appreciated the idea that there's not a registry. There's not a gun registry, a federal registry, but it feels like that's kind of what that is. Am I right? I mean, I guess you wouldn't necessarily know if I'm right on that either.
I
but what are your thoughts?
I would not know, but yeah, it does feel a bit like that. The thing is, when you go to the digital, it removes so much of the small human errors that they catch you for and can revoke a license for. And it removes a lot of the stress that is tied to finding those tiny little errors and being extra nitpicky on the paperwork. What is this? Is it a letter I? Is it a number 1? What is this, a 6 or is this a 0? The way that it's written on the paper form, typed in. Those are those actual numbers that were typed in, and then on digital, usually if you're filling out one of those and you make an error, it kicks it out of the system. A lot of times the errors are retained within that system because that provides a marker. So if the same person tries to come back within a time frame set by that system and reapply, the system will kick them out again going, no, we told you no. And we have the information that says you're the same person that we told no before. We're still going to tell you no now.
So it's really more of a choice by the FFL itself on whether they do that or not?
It is totally an FFL's decision on whether they want to go paperless and do everything digitally, or if they would like to operate on a paper system.
Let me ask this, is there any sort of like pressure to go digital, or it's just kind of like it's up to you, nobody really cares, it's your choice, we're just offering you this other option?
It is a very tempting option.
Sure, I get it.
Very tempting option because of the reduction of stress. This is a very high stress job. I did not have gray hairs before I started this job. I actually do have gray hairs. Sometimes can be seen in certain lighting, but I swear to God, they really are there. And when my cousin grows out his facial hair, you can tell just exactly how much stress and gray he has had. So yes, it's high stress, and going digital does alleviate a lot of the stress on my side of the counter. However, then it also gets us to thinking, and it also gets us to thinking about our customers' information and what is being stored as well, how that information can be accessed, and who can access that information. Like you said, there's places on the dark web that can get access to any place and any information that they want. And that's not my realm of expertise. So I wouldn't know anything about how to go about finding all of that, but I'm assured that it could be found.
Okay, well, I guess let me ask you this. So there's no necessarily like pressure to do it. It's just we get this other than, wow, that would be nice, because then I don't have to worry.
Exactly. And the pressure would come if you have, let's say, for whatever reason, you have a terrible audit, and the audit is like, you know, hey, it's these same little things that you're not catching. But if you pushed on a digital system, that system catches those errors for you. Like not submitting the correct additional paperwork or form with something. There's always additional forms that need to be sent with things from time to time. I mean, so if you're not getting the correct information with where it needs to go in the timely fashion it needs to be there, yeah, you're going to have a bad audit, and they're going to say, there is stuff out there that can help you with that. If we're not here, there is software that is written that has been approved by the ATF. It's not ATF software. It is software that has been approved by the ATF.
Have you ever heard where that information's being stored? Like, has an agent ever told you, or have you ever asked, or has that ever come up?
It's not ever come up because I have not yet had the experience of working for an FFL that records digital data. The only digital data I think I have is a little tiny standalone cash register that will scan the information on a driver's license, which has the name as it appears on the driver's license and the address that is on that driver's license. That's the only information I can take off of that. And then I have to manually add in your contact phone number in there so I can print you a receipt that has your correct information and the make, model, serial number.
It's more for tax reasons, less for FFL reasons.
Yeah, it's just proof of purchase for the buyer, and for the seller saying yes, you know, and for our, like I said, or like you said, the IRS for our taxes that we do have to file. So, yeah.
So if do you have customers that, or have you heard of people saying, well, I will never do, or do you think that's a deterrent for people?
It really is a deterrent for some, and I have.
So it's a convenience, but a deterrent.
I've heard both, because we do have customers that go, well, I used to go to this store. I really liked this store. I like their stock. I like their selection. I love the people, but they went digital, and I'm not at that comfort level yet to be able to. Or maybe they just aren't fast typers and don't want to sit there tying up a computer for an hour and 45 minutes just to sit there and peck in their name and address. So I don't know what your individual experience is with paper versus digital, but some places are still paper, some places are digital, and you have the option to pick where you want to go, where you want to spend your money. Doesn't matter which way you do it, digitally or paper. All of that information still goes to the FBI through the same FBI NICS system, National Instant Criminal Check System, that they have that runs your background check on it. It'll still take the same amount of time, whether it's digital, whether you write it on paper and somebody else sends it electronically, or if they send it by phone, or if they send it by fax. All of that information still gets to the same database. I guess that's
kind of what I was getting at, or what I was thinking is like, because even if I fill out a paper form, the FFL still has to go in and put the information in.
We still transmit that data to the FBI.
Whether
if you call it in
it
on the phone, you have somebody at a call center that
is
putting that information, the exact same questions that they ask. Now, here's the thing, though. I will say, when we call into the system, or when we transmit data electronically to that system manually, transmitting from paper to digital format, they don't ask us every question on that test that you're filling out. They do not ask us the number of firearms you are purchasing.
If you call it in?
They don't ask us if they call it in either. They do not ask us the serial numbers on everything you are. They don't even ask us for the one. If you're only doing one, they don't ask us the serial number. If you're doing 201, they don't ask us the serial number. Now, if you are doing 201 guns on one transaction,
they'll probably ask.
They will ask, when will you be opening your business and how can we help you? Because that indicates an intent to a purchase that large all at one time usually indicates intent to distribute. So this is what they're looking for. And if you think they are collecting your data and how are they getting my information and why do they know this? They're only going to get that information if your gun turns up used in a crime.
Gotcha.
And then they're going to have to, like, if your gun is stolen and used or something,
trace it.
Yep, and then they just reverse trace it through the manufacturer. It goes down the line until they call that gun store to physically go into the back room and pull that paperwork and say, yes, I can prove that Mark is the owner of that firearm.
So really kind of what it sounds like is if no matter what, your information's going into some sort of a system, whether it's paper, phone call, or digital. But if it's a paper application, it's limited information.
It is very limited.
Whereas if it's digital, it's all of the information. But it's still going in the same place.
It's only going. It's all going to the exact same place. But I mean, it's still got to be filled into the same database form. But when you type in all that information digitally in there, instead of having somebody handwrite out that information, I don't know. I can't guarantee that all of the digital information is not transmitted and it's only the necessary line items.
Gotcha.
But I can, if we're filling out paper forms, I can tell you that I'm only gonna fill out and send the information that's required. I'm not sending any additional information.
Interesting. Well, that's good stuff. Well, gosh, Maggie, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
You're so
that's
welcome.
Fascinating. Because I thought the same thing. I thought, well, no matter what, it's going to the same place, but that's interesting that it's a lot more it's everything if you do it digitally.
I love you guys and girls that come in thinking that they know every serial number you've ever bought. No. I mean, if you give them a lifetime, they can look it up. But
it'll maybe take a lifetime.
It would. Every single paper record and everything that they'd have to go through. But as things go digital, more information is stored and can be stored in smaller spaces. So it's not systems of caves holding file boxes of paper forms anymore.
All right.
So.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Maggie, for all that information. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we'll just keep on chatting.
Let's keep chatting.
Bye-bye, guys.
And we'll see you next time.